Well, thanks to a breakthrough in gene therapy, an 11-year-old boy who was born deaf can now hear. A same dam had a rare abnormality in a single gene. His treatment represents the first time a gene therapy has been used as a potential treatment for hereditary hearing loss in the United States. For more this morning, we are joined by Dan Riskin. He's CTV's science and technology expert. Dan, good morning. Listen, speaking of hearing, I could tell you could hear our music loud and clear because I don't know if you know, but we all caught you dancing just during the commercial break.
I just love that music you guys play over the weather. But it really drives home. We take our hearing for granted, right?
It's true.
You know, you hear this, you hear a little noise, and here we have a kid who born deaf and now can hear his parents talk and now can hear a car go by. And actually, cars going by is a noise that I don't like very much, but it's one of the things that has been pointed out that he's really excited about is being able to hear cars. And he's 11, and it just gives you goosebumps to know that this kind of a breakthrough is happening.
Okay, explain this procedure to us. What was done?
So basically, he was born with a different version of a gene that is supposed to make a protein in his cochlea, the part of the ear that actually sends signals to the brain. So his eardrums vibrate. The bones in the ear transmit the sound to the cochlea. The cochlea gets those vibrations, but then the nerves never get activated to send it to the brain because the protein's missing. So for this treatment, what they did is they took a virus and they basically changed the DNA of the virus so that it would implant the correct gene into the person who gets exposed to the virus. And then they did a surgery where they went into one of his two ears. They they lifted the eardrum and just put a drop of this virus into his ear and then left it. And then 4 months later, he's hearing as well as somebody with moderate to mild hearing loss. The virus basically transmitted the DNA into the cells where they needed to be, and now he has functional protein, and now everything's working very well. And it's just wonderful. And of course, it's only on the side where he had the surgery. The other ear is still deaf.
But you're right, like just imagining him, sounds that he only imagined, now he knows what they sound like for real. You mentioned that he doesn't have full hearing restoration. Is there research that shows whether or not his hearing will actually improve with more time?
You know what? This is the research that's going to show whether his hearing improves over time. So apparently it took about 4 days before he started to notice that something was happening. And as time goes on, it may improve further. It may wane after a while. But certainly what this shows is that in just the order of a couple of months, it's like a light switch. It's night and day.
When we pull back the lens on this, Dan, globally 34 million children have deafness or hearing loss, and genes are responsible for more than half, up to 60% of the cases. How is this a game changer for people who are born with hearing loss?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of different parts that make it possible for you to hear, and a lot of different genes have to work. And so, yes, there's 1 out of every 500 kids is born with some genetic hearing loss, but it varies from kid to kid which gene it is that's a problem. So there are about 150 different genes that have been implicated, and this is just one gene that they used. But the technology should work for any of them. So not to say that it'll have this level of success with any of those genes, because different proteins might have different roles and might need to be there for different things. But certainly, this is a first step into that exciting direction. And with genetic technologies being where they are, it's very easy, I say easy, but it's very possible to make a bespoke virus that has exactly the gene that this particular kid needs, or this pair of genes. And so there's a lot of hope that this could bring a real change for a lot of people with genetic hearing loss.
Yeah, Issam, we know, was born with hearing loss. But what about people who are not born deaf and lose their hearing as a result of an accident or an illness or age? Could this work for them?
Yeah, it's not clear that this is going to have much of an impact for people who lose their hearing over time. This really seems to be something for people that are born without hearing. And one of the interesting pieces of this is that Issam was born without hearing, and only at the age 11 has started hearing. He is nonverbal. He doesn't speak because he did not hear sounds, did not hear people talking to him during the developmental window where that happens. So now at the age 11, he's probably missed that window. He's probably never going to be verbal, but you can see how this technology might be useful for kids that might receive it earlier so that they can still hit those milestones.
It's so fascinating and wonderful to hear about these developments because of science. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.